There are two reasons why you absolutely need to watch this video. First of all, this laptop was bought. It is not sponsored, so therefore I have the retail unit. And secondly, this is probably the cheapest RTX laptop you can get in the market. I got this around 44,000 rupees. Yes, an RTX laptop for 44,000 rupees. It's packed with the i5 12 Gen 8 series processor, which is a very decent processor, and it's packed with 16 GBs of RAM. And yes, the RTX 2050 GPU. So I'll be covering all the important points about this laptop in this video so that you can be sure by the end of this video whether you should actually buy this laptop or try out something else.
Inside, we get a sleek looking laptop and a hefty charging brick. You can pause to check the input or output rating. This laptop comes with a cold to touch aluminium top which adds a class, making it stand out from the plasticky, cheap looking counterparts. And there are some large air vents in the back. The overall build quality feels great.
But that is not just because of the cold to touch aluminium cover that Acer has provided, but also for the weight distribution how Acer has managed. This laptop actually weighs around 2 kilograms, but it doesn't feel 2 kilogram heavy when you hold it in your hand because of the amazing weight distribution. But one thing that is lacking here is a good top cover quality because it does catch a lot of fingerprints. Now this is not a deal breaker for me, especially at this price range, so it is fine. The hinge quality does feel a bit too easy, especially while I try to close it. It gives off after a point. So you need to be careful with this. But other than that, it's really fine. After around a mark in the hinge, it actually lifts up the laptop by a little bit, as you can see in this portion. So it allows better ventilation. And talking about ventilation and airflow, this laptop has a hell of a vent over here. It is the largest vent I've ever seen in any of the gaming laptops that I have ever owned. I had a HP Pavilion series laptop. It also did not have really huge vents like this one. I mean, literally you can see inside the number of fans that is two inside and even the copper wires and all. But there is one problem that comes with the larger vents, which is the dust issue. So if you have a lot of dust in your house, it is possible your laptop will be capturing more dust because of this huge vent that is present on the other side.
It also comes with a decent 144Hz full HD display with some satisfactory viewing angles.
And it is just bright enough for me inside the room. If you want to use it outside, it's actually on the dimmer side with the peak brightness of 258 nits. Pictures appear sharp, but they do lack in color accuracy. So it is not ideal for color grading or video editing, but I guess you have to do the job here if you don't have any external display.
Thoughtfully designed vents ensure optimal airflow, enhancing the overall cooling system. Even the keyboards are equipped with strategically placed air inlets, mitigating any concerns of overheating. Speaking of the keyboard, its quality is more than satisfactory. The important part here is that the keys not leading to any discomfort or finger fatigue when you are typing for a long time. And just below it, you get a large responsive trackpad along with a fingerprint sensor, which is pretty fast. But also it does lead to some issues sometimes, especially because of the small size of the fingerprint when the laptop is unable to detect if the fingerprint is from me or someone else, which is basically not being able to verify the fingerprints.
Now let's move on to the most important part of the video, which is the performance of this laptop. I will be using this laptop with the battery connected to the mains in the first half so that it gets charged to 100%, and also it will give us an idea of the maximum capable performance of the system when it is connected to the mains. But also at the same time, after the 100% mark is reached for the battery, I will be using it without connecting to the mains. So it will give us a clear idea of how this laptop performs on battery, which is very important for a laptop, because why even get a laptop if you can't use it on battery?
So let us divide the testing category. Keeping in mind the mid-weight specs of the laptop, we are going to try lightweight to mid-weight gaming and see how this laptop performs on 3D modeling in Blender on EV as well as resource-intensive cycles renderer using the dedicated GPU, and even the performance of the laptop in terms of programming. In this case, we are going to try Flutter on Android Studio, and last and obviously the least, day-to-day tasks like browsing or watching a video on YouTube. We're also going to keep an eye on the battery to see how much of juice these tasks end up taking. Also, we are going to keep an eye on the temperature along with the battery. Now something weird happened and I lost all of the clips except for the one where I tested Android Studio and development performance on this laptop. Due to some reason, probably have misplaced them, so I had to shoot all of my videos again. So here's the programming part first. I installed Android Studio and did all the required stuff for Flutter installation. App development is very smooth here. I did not run an Android emulator since I prefer running the debug APK on my spare phone during the development process. All the features work great, like hot restart and hot reload. They are instant. And I did not notice any random breakage of connection during the process. The CPU usage is also pretty normal, and here are the other stats. And I was also not expecting much of any lag here since I do a lot of Flutter development on an i3 10th generation desktop powered by 8 GBs of RAM, and I have never experienced anything super slow there, although it is powered by Linux, so obviously has lesser resource usage. Now, I did some gaming when the charger is connected to the mains. I tried Asphalt 9. I generally don't find much enjoyment in gaming, so I'm never into it. I had forgotten most of the controls since the initial testing was done quite some time ago, but anyway, I ended up winning the first place in the level after randomly pressing the wrong keys while I just could not get past the same level previously. There was not a single lag and the laptop handled it pretty well. The cooling system, although very noisy, does a phenomenal job, although I did not notice much noise during the playing of the game. But you will notice it more in the later parts. The laptop warms up very little on the outside, but keep in mind that it is winter here and the room temperature is probably around 19 to 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, now let us move on to the next part. I tried using Blender and it was again very smooth. The workbench mode without material and other fancy rendering is buttery smooth as expected. I have this scene which involves a bit of everything in the cuboids itself, from the principal BSDF like transparency, transparent roughness, subsurface, emissions and more. In full-on cycles render in the workspace, it is a bit laggy even with just 10 samples, which I do expect especially because of the resource-intensive cycles renderer. Again, when you run full-on render image with 100 samples, it does take some time. The fans go on full speed and produces noticeable amount of noise, but the cooling done here is so good that even with such a load, the temperature never even exceeds 55 degrees Celsius. Mostly they stay below or around 50 degrees Celsius. It pushes the limit of the GPU as well as increases long-term durability, reducing damage done due to excessive heat. My mother regularly uses this laptop for editing in DaVinci Resolve, and again, the cooling system comes into play and keeps the internals cool. However, with Resolve, she does rarely complain that the laptop is lagging, even though she edits strictly with 180p videos and never with 4K, which is a bit weird for a laptop performing so well with other stuff like Blender. And then I disconnected the charger. Although it did not reach 100% yet, I made sure that the inbuilt performance mode was active, and I did the same test with some gaming on Asphalt 9, which had practically no difference in performance. Everything was handled smoothly, keeping most of the surface temperatures normal and a bit of warmth near the upper vents. I started my very short gaming session with 86% charge and ended with 82% charge. The entire session lasted for 1 minute 49 seconds. Losing 4% charge over such a short period is very much unacceptable. It means hardcore gaming sessions won't last quite long on battery. And I think this is a very well-known problem in most of the affordable Windows gaming laptops. And then I launched Blender, another resource-intensive application, and did similar tests along with the stats right beside it. What I noticed was a considerable drop in fan noise along with the CPU as well as the GPU usage, and of course the rendering speed. Even when the high performance mode is turned on, it does not give you the actual full raw performance when you are just operating from the battery. So it's important to connect to the power adapter if you need to unlock the true potential of this laptop. I switched the render engine to EV, everything turned dark since there was no light source other than the emissions. After adding a light and some modification in the materials, this is what I got. As expected, performance with EV is very smooth. Next, I did some lightweight work like having a chat related to dogs with ChatGPT for a few minutes and then watching a video from my other channel on YouTube. Do check it out from the I button above if you like Linux related contents. The session went for 10 minutes 30 seconds and the battery dropped to 69%. which is a 4% drop. Still on the higher end for something lightweight like browsing or watching a video. Here are the idle stats for this laptop so you can get an idea of the CPU and RAM usage when the laptop is sitting idle. Next, I did a Geekbench test in this laptop, and this laptop did score quite well in terms of CPU benchmark in both single and multi-core performance. The GPU benchmark also turned in some respectable results. In summary, this laptop performs exceptionally well for programming, light to mid-weight gaming, and content creation tasks. It delivers smooth experiences in tasks like Flutter development and gaming with an efficient cooling system ensuring stable performance, while heavy-duty applications like intense Blender rendering may exhibit slight lag. The laptop remains reliable for most creative endeavors. On the downside, the battery life may be a consideration for those requiring extended usage away from power sources. Activities such as gaming and resource-intensive applications could result in quicker battery drainage. Despite this, the laptop exhibits notable Geekbench scores, making it a solid choice for users seeking a balance between performance and portability. But however, I won't really call this laptop very portable because you need to have the power brick with you since it discharges very quickly. Also, there is a noticeable amount of performance drop, which I have told a number of times. But if that does not pose as a problem to you, then you can definitely go for this. At least you will be able to do some of your work while you are traveling, but if you don't really travel a lot and you plan to use it at just one place, I would rather recommend you to get a desktop.
Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.